Welcome to the Left of Str8 Show, where we talk entertainment, music, books, foodies, and more each week with special guest interviews of interest to the LGBTQ community and our straight allies. Direct from the entertainment capital of Northeast Ohio. Your host, Scott Fullerton, chats with some of your favorite entertainers, celebrities, newsmakers, and behind-the-scenes people across the country and around the world who make it all happen. So sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and let's start talking.
Guys, welcome back to the Left of Str8 Show and my interviews with celebrities, personalities, and all sorts of cool people from the worlds of entertainment, foodies, books, music, and advocacy. I'm your host, as always, Scott Fullerton, and today I'm welcoming singer and record producer Adam Mardel to the show. Adam was a founding member of the group Second Alibi, which formed right here in Ohio, and has gone on to create his own record company, the E2A Music Group, and work with talented artists such as Katie O'Brien, who we had on the show a couple years ago. It's exciting to talk to him. He's currently working on some new projects, as long as getting back to a big wedding that he has, with his engagement to his fiance Michael. So we'll talk all about that and more. I'm excited to welcome to the Left of Str8 Show, Mr. Adam Mardel. Adam, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate being on the show. We've like I said, came in contact before over Katie. You've worked with her on some music, and she is amazing. She's not O'Brien anymore, but that's her story to tell. But yeah, congratulations, you guys. We're going to talk about the history of you a little bit, and you got some exciting new projects coming up. And congratulations on the engagement.
Thank you. I'm very, very excited. Yeah, so we are planning a wedding for 2025 at this point. We've rescheduled the date numerous times. We know it's going to happen eventually. We just, we've got our fingers crossed.
Welcome to today's world, right? After pandemic, nothing's a certain but uncertainty, right?
Right.
I hear you. All right. Well, since that's your first time on the show, let's go ahead and give a little bit of background to my listeners. Tell them where you came from. You were here in Ohio, and I think you're in Chicago now. So talk about your background there and what got you interested in the music industry.
So I started out professionally in music. I did a national tour of Annie when I was about 12. And after that, I just got the bug, with performing and fell absolutely in love with it. And I was really obsessed with like pop music when I was younger. So I looked up to, of course, the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. Britney Spears was, a massive influence on me. And in 2015, I started a boy band search of my own. We hadn't had a boy band come from Ohio since like 98 Degrees in Youngstown. So I felt like it was time, and it ultimately, after a number of lineup changes, we settled on myself, and Cody Goins was the lead singer. And we made numerous albums. We've toured all over the country. We did some pretty amazing things. So now I finally re-released our debut album worldwide. I just got a distribution deal through Sony. So I'm, slowly starting to re-release all of our projects. And of course, Katie's project will be coming eventually. But yeah, I'm so excited for, the music to finally be heard the way that we always wanted it to be. Before, we were so limited on budgets and funds and just exposure. So it really is nice to re-release the material and actually have it sound better, and it
I
makes a big
bet.
difference. So yeah.
That's exciting. Very cool and all of that. And we talked about you being engaged to your fiance, Michael. Talk to me about, when did you first come out to yourself? When did you
Mhm,
kind of find your tribe?
mhm.
And where were you lucky enough to meet Michael at?
So I always knew that I was gay. Um, I didn't know exactly what that meant when I was younger. Growing up, there wasn't really a lot of exposure, um, and it was something that you kind of kept in the closet. Um, but I came out via MySpace, with a blog. Came out to my family, my friends, and everybody, and um, they were just like, "Yeah, we know." It wasn't a massive surprise to anybody, but growing up in the industry and like going into record label meetings and manager meetings, they would tell me to obviously hide it. And even when I was in Second Alibi, especially like near the beginning, we we hid the fact that both of us were gay. So it's it has since changed. The industry is a lot more accepting, and it still surprises me from time to time, the stuff that is said behind the scenes, but it's definitely better. As for Michael, we actually met during COVID, and we got engaged 7 months after meeting each other, and we've now been engaged for like, it feels like forever, but we've been engaged for like 2 years. So we feel like we're married already, so it's not that much difference.
I hear you. I hear you. That's kind of cool. Now, I did not know that Cody was gay. Was that a plan when you were doing all these auditions, or did that just happen to happen?
Yeah, so the founding members of Second Alibi, the original lead singer was a straight male, and it just turned out that a lot of guys really wanted to be in boy bands, and they just happened to be gay, most of them. So it just worked out that way, and he was like a brother to me, and um, it just wasn't something that we really discussed. But doing interviews and stuff, I remember being told by like managers, like, you can't say that, don't do this. I said something about Nick Jonas in a magazine interview, and our manager was livid.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Wow,
but it's
different times.
very different times.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Second Alibi. So this is a nationwide search. Did you kind of have, did you write your own music? Did you have a groove to what you were going towards? Did you know what your sound was going to be? Did it evolve? Talk about the music you guys put out.
So we knew that we always wanted to go for a more like dance EDM sound initially. Our first EP was all dance electronic music, but we slowly worked into like pop and pop rock later on. Um, but we produced our own music. We wrote it, we mixed it, we mastered it. We did everything from the ground up. We had no producers. Everything that you hear on the album was us.
Wow, that's exciting. Good for you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Oh, it was a
That's
lot of work.
a lot of work, but it's not usually that much control your first time out, right? Usually you have
Right.
everyone telling you what to do. I mean, obviously, you have managers telling you what to do to promote, but when it comes to your sound, to have control over that is kind of unheard of. So that's pretty cool. I like that.
And that was also another reason why I started the record label. We were meeting with labels, and they would want us to do a certain sound or look a certain way, and we weren't really comfortable with that. So we actually turned down two major record labels in the very, very beginning, when there were four of us. Um, and I'm actually glad that it happened that way, because now we, maintain those royalties and we control everything ourselves. So it is nice to have that control.
I bet, sure. and you guys were all over the place. Like you said, you toured the country. You ended up opening for Aaron Carter. What
Yes.
was it cool being on the road? Was it as hard as everyone says? What was your guys' experience being on the road?
So it was fun. I initially started out as a solo artist. So I toured with Aaron by myself in 2013, and then we ended up touring again with him in 2017. And the experience was completely different. When I was touring by myself, like most of the time, my manager wasn't there, because he had other artists, and so it was just me, just with a couple pairs of jeans, t-shirts, and some shoes.
No.
Nothing glamorous. So when I was touring with Cody, it was a completely different experience. We were supporting each other, we were making memories, and it's something that I really do cherish because I looked over, to my left or my right, and I wasn't alone on stage anymore, and it really
Yeah.
created a bond between us. It was really awesome.
And talk about this reimagining and redistributing all of this music. Are they a part of it at all? Are they giving you their blessings? Do they want to become involved again, or how is that working out for you?
So I took the albums down a number of years ago. My mother passed away right when I signed this distribution deal. Um, and I wasn't using it. I wasn't doing anything with it. And I recently found out that I still had access to this distribution. So I was like, I should be doing something with it because all of us worked extremely hard. And I've been reconnecting with the artists, reconnecting with the songwriters, producers, on other projects. And yeah, they're excited that they finally get that. They finally have the exposure that I always wanted to give to them. So
It's such
it's
a
it's
different
pretty
animal
exciting.
anymore. Before you were so dependent on record companies, even if you had your own company like you did, social media wasn't anything in 2013. So it
No.
really was kind of hope those phone calls get answered and see what you can do, right?
Oh yeah. So I would get my pre-sale tickets, like physical tickets, and I would go to each city. I would say that I was opening for Aaron Carter, and I would set up my own radio interviews. Like I'd pretend to be my manager on the phone, change my voice, whatever it took. And back then you had to make like posters and literally go door to door and just of all these businesses being like, "Can you please promote this?"
Right.
So it's completely different. Now you can promote a show online and spend like $20 and you're good to go.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, it's such a different animal anymore. I mean, I've talked to lots of independent music artists that have been in business. Anyone's been in it 6 years, just 6 years has changed immensely. But 10 years,
Oh yeah.
that's a lifetime in this industry, right? So that's got to be cool. Are you doing anything different with the songs? Are you trying to interpret them a different way? Are you remixing it all? Are you doing kind of as is, or what's your goal for the redistribution of the album?
So I my plan is to release songs that never came out initially. Songs that we always, wanted to release but never really got the chance. Um, and I'm revisiting the old material, and like I said, I'm remastering everything. For now, I just want to release the projects as is, and then eventually release like the newer material. There are some remixes in the work. Um, I don't have any release dates or anything, but it is nice to like revisit those songs and remember what it was like the first time we recorded them or wrote them, and
Right.
yeah.
Well, plus music has its peaks and valleys and things. I mean, that was when you guys were doing that in 2013, 2015. Electronica was at its top, right? EDM was
Yes.
through 2018, I think. It was still going. Now you have festivals and EDM cruises, but it's more nostalgia, right? So it's still out
Yes.
there, but it's almost it's just not its wave right now. It's just kind of looking back at it fondly now. So that's got to be a little different as well.
Right. It's a different experience. it is nice to see all of like the 2000, like early 2000 pop acts like touring together and doing shows with each other. It's really, really nice. And I've recently reconnected with a lot of artists that I worked with back then, and we all miss being on the road. We all miss like doing something. So we are actually, one project that I'm super, super excited about. I am working on a charity album with a lot of major recording artists, and I don't have like the official anything yet, but the proceeds for the album will actually go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I have worked on and off with them over the years. I've played like foundations and I've done walks for them. So it just seemed like the right choice for this album.
I think that's great. I can't wait to hear more about that. I mean, I just had one of my guests on the other day, Stan Zimmerman, wrote a play called Right Before I Go, which is a bunch of different suicide notes. And with everything happening in the LGBTQ trans committee right now, with people being silenced and people not able to express themselves, suicide is such an important thing that Trevor Project does, and a different, like I said, different awareness for different things. So that's fantastic. What, how big of a project are you going to look for? Just like an album? Are you looking to do maybe a live kind of streaming thing, or what's happening? What's in your mind right now?
So I did a concert series back in 2016, and it was called E2A Presents, and I had artists of different genres doing shows in different cities. So I would really like to do something along those lines where I have artists from different genres and different backgrounds promoting the album, and I would really like to involve like local artists in each of the cities, so that way they have a chance to work with some of these recording artists. I just want to do something good for the community, and for the association itself as well.
That's awesome. Well, let's go into starting your own music company is just wild to me. Where did the name come from? E2A Music Group. Where did the name come, and what has been? Tell me about the company. How's that been coming along?
So I initially started the company in 2013 after I got off the road with Aaron Carter the first time. I had been signed and dropped, and over a number of years I had recorded 4 albums by that point that had never come out because the record label lost their funding and I was shelved, and I just got tired of it. So I decided to start the company, and one thing that a producer, my very first producer in 2009, would always tell me, he would try to get my attention, and I'd be like writing a melody or doing something in the booth, and he'd be like, Earth to Atom. So E2A stands for Earth to Atom. And it's something that has like, it's sentimental for me. And, the company, I took a little break for a number of years. I'm just now starting to get back into it. But I mean, I've worked with so many amazing people that I genuinely care about. And Katie, especially, I reconnected with Katie, and I hadn't talked to her in years. And she is doing wonderful things. But it is nice to put everything under my own company, so that way I can do things my way and not really have, an outside source, telling me what I can and cannot do as an artist.
Right. That's exciting. Like I said, we've all went on break. I was on break for 2 years for the pandemic, so I just started back up again 5 weeks ago because I took 2 years off. It's hard to get that momentum back again, right? I mean, when I took it off, it was fine. It was a year. I'll take a year off. Things slowly started picking back up again in entertainment. So I said, I'll start doing it. then you just have to get that motivation, right? Because after a year of not doing anything, there's no
Yes.
motivation to do anything. It's kind of easy not to do that.
No,
So where did you
right.
find the motivation to get back into it all?
So it really started. I I knew that I wanted to re-release the records, but the thing that has really jump-started everything for me, I qualified for an industry plaque, and I had no idea that I qualified for it. So I was working with this team, and I ended up getting the proof for the plaque the day before Aaron died.
Hmm.
And that was really the thing that made me think like I miss music. It's a part of my life. And, life is so short, and I don't want to, continue through life and not have music involved in my life, at least in some small way. And it was just something I was missing. It was something that I needed. It was an outlet that has been phenomenal for me, and my feelings, and just getting stuff out. And especially during the pandemic, like the pandemic just, it threw everybody for a loop. It was just, you know, we, you never know what's going to happen. You never know,
Yeah.
you don't know if you're going to be here in 10 years, 5 years, tomorrow. So I really wanted to get back to it, and I'm glad that I did, because I'm reconnecting, with people like you, of course. And I always, I cannot thank you enough. The interview that you did with Katie helped tremendously. So I really do appreciate you having me on. And I just wanted to let you know that um, it is much appreciated.
Well, it's my absolute pleasure, and I know exactly where you're going. Like you said, we don't know what's happening. I didn't want to dwell on Aaron too much. I mean, Aaron Carter was such a tragic story in a lot of ways. I mean, luckily in 2013, that he was back on one of his peaks again. And I mean,
Yes, yes.
that poor guy had an up and down life, and so you don't want to hammer
Yeah.
anything good or bad in it. But you got him when he was on, really got to when he was on a high. That had to be kind of exciting to be there part of that time. So I can imagine
It
the death
was.
had to hit you kind of hard.
It was to see him live, what he is capable of doing. And a lot of people don't realize this, but he produces, writes, plays numerous instruments. Like, he did everything. And I feel like a lot of times his talent was always overshadowed by the addiction. And
Right.
it's unfortunate. And I really wish people would take a look at his career and his music and his accomplishments, and really acknowledge the fact that he was a talented artist.
Well said. Well said. And like you said, I mean, that's the thing that excites me. I've never been a music guy myself. I have no talent, unfortunately, in that. So I don't really listen to music. The only time I listen to music, honestly, is in the car until I started the show 7 years ago. Then all of a sudden, I got all invitations from all these great independent artists, and we have some amazing queer and straight talent out there that are just amazing artists that you don't hear of that often.
Mhm.
So it's been my pleasure to be able to bring people like Katie, bring your record company to light, because I really enjoy learning about things that I never knew before. So thank you as well for creating music like this. It's just exciting time for all of us. Let's let my listeners in on this a bit and play one of your songs, because there's a couple that I really love. We're going to play Lost right now, and then we'll play another one at the end of the interview here. But this is one of your, now Lost was one earlier in the career, or where did that, tell me about how that song
That
came to be.
so we recorded that song in 2015. That was actually in the first group of songs that we wrote, and it was our second single. I think it was released in November of 2016. Um, and it's actually one of my favorite songs. I love the beat on that song. I think it was produced really well. Cody did a phenomenal job, And it was talking, the writing for that song was actually talking about a relationship that I had just ended. So it was very emotional for me.
Those make the best kind of music we know from all of our artists, so that's true. All right, let's go ahead and share this with my listeners. This is Lost from Second Alibi. We're going to play it and we'll talk about it again on the other side. You're listening to Left of Str8 Show right here on the Left of Str8 Radio Network.
Come and find your way back to me. Come and find your way. Without you I'm feeling empty. Got everything to say. Thought I didn't need you, baby, until you went away. Now that I don't have you with me, regret it every day. Just be with me now, before I start to drown. Lay your head on my chest, while mine's in the clouds. I'm feeling lost now, can't scream or shout. Broke my heart when you, broke my heart when you, my heart when you. Turn up, I can feel it now. With every breath I take, opened up my eyes and realized you were my only strength. I thought I didn't need you, baby, until you went away. Now that I don't have you with me, regret it every day. Just be with me now, before I start to drown. Lay your head on my chest, while mine's in the clouds. I'm feeling lost now, can't scream or shout. Broke my heart when you, broke my heart when you, my heart when you.
Alrighty, we are back. That was Lost by my special guest today. I'm so excited, Adam. Adam Mardel is here. They've re-released some of the music from his group Second Alibi on his own music label, E2A Music. Like I said, I really do like that song, and you're right, that beat is contagious, right?
I like it, yeah.
Sad beginnings, but it makes for a good beat. Good beat there out the dance floor. And then we're going to play a little bit later Red. Talk about Red for a second. Where did that song inspiration come from?
So, Red was written and produced by Cody. It was the first song that I ever witnessed him writing. And the inspiration, I was sitting in my living room. At the time I lived in Batavia, Ohio, and there was like this massive red painting behind me. And that was the inspiration. It was a random, and he starts playing like on the guitar, the chords, and starts coming up with lyrics. And within probably about 20 minutes, he had the entire song written. That was the reason that I signed him. A lot of the other members and kids that I was working with they could sing, they could dance, but they couldn't write a song and they couldn't produce. So that was really our first taste of like what he was actually capable of. And it's a really important song to both him and myself. But yeah, I think that was our third single. And that song actually went to top 10 on the R&B iTunes charts when it first came out. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's the only one. But I love that song. And yeah, it has a lot of really, really good memories for me.
Very cool. Now, at the time when you guys were releasing this music, there really wasn't the time or the budget to make a music video. If you were able to make a full music video today, which song do you think you'd like to tackle first?
So it would probably be Red. Just because like we did have like video ideas. We actually had a video treatment that was going to combine Lost and Red together. And we were going to shoot the video here in Chicago. It ended up not working out. But I wish that we had music videos for those songs. I feel like we got robbed.
You can always redo them. They don't have to be
Right.
Always fun things you can do. Well,
Yeah.
that's exciting. We'll talk about where you're going from here now. What is your goals? You want to get this charity album out. What's your next steps from here?
So I would really like to focus more on the music publishing side moving forward and sign songwriters and music producers and have that be the main focus of the company. I love being in the studio. I do miss performing, but not enough to actually go on tour. It's very draining. But I would love to, work with young talent again and get into the management side, and manage songwriters and producers. I think that would be so much fun to do. And I honestly miss it. I see these kids like performing at these open mic nights and I'm like, I want to help you. So,
now,
yeah.
you're based in Chicago, and Chicago has a great nightlife scene. Do you and Michael get out there and kind of scout people, or just for fun, or?
Oh, we go to shows all the time. We are going to bars, just dives. Because honestly, dive bars is where you find like the most talented people. And Chicago is a phenomenal live, a place to go for like live music. There is something going on every moment of the day somewhere in the city.
I love that. All right, and if any of my listeners out there are potential singers or songwriters, where can they find the company's web address, and where can they find you on social media?
So you can just look me up on social media under Adam Mardel. I think it's the same across the board. E2A Music Group is the website. We also have socials at E2A MG. And yeah, so please stay tuned. If you have demos that you would like to submit, please do so. We would love to get started, get the ball rolling.
Super duper. Well, Adam Mardel, thanks so much for being on the Left of Str8 Show. Got to come on again as we find some more artists, especially if this concert comes together, because I have a couple ideas of names and 5 people that I've talked to, LGBT artists, at least if you're interested in those across the country. But it's been great talking to you, my friend.
You as well. Thank you.
All right, well, stay on the line for me, guys. We're going to play out with Red, which we talked about earlier. This is from Second Alibi. You listen to Left of Str8 Show, the interviews right here on the Left of Str8 Radio Network. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
I've been doing this for too long. I'm still waiting up for you to call. You always come home too late. Am I the one to blame? Want what I want and I have your touch. I hate you so bad but I can't get enough. Could've fixed this mess but you're never around. Gonna get dressed up, gonna paint this town. Baby, help make this town red. Baby, help make this town red. Help make this town. I'm going out, I can't wait all night for you. Wondering what you always do. I say I don't care, but I'm so torn. I miss you, but it's time to move on. Want what I want and I love your touch. I hate you so bad, but I can't get enough. Could've fixed this mess, but you're never around. Gonna get dressed up, gonna paint this town. Baby, help make this town red. Baby, help make this town red. Help make this town red. You said just think it over, baby, just take your time. You said there's no one else, heard that too many times. Baby, help make this town red. Baby, baby, help. Baby, baby, help. You said just think it over, baby, just take your time. You said there's no one else, heard that too many times. Baby, help make this town red.
Thanks for listening to The Left of Str8 Show. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast distributor, and please give us a 5-star rating so more listeners can find us. You can follow us on social media, and be sure to check out our website, www.leftofstraightradio.com, for contests and other news and information. See you next week.